Welcome back to Break Tech. My name is Doug, and in this video we're going to continue working on our portfolio project using the Materialize Design framework. You scroll down the page, we have just completed our selected work section, and below that we're now going to create an About Me section. So give me one moment while we pull up the code, and we'll go ahead and get started on that. So at the bottom of our project, we'll go ahead and add a new image, a new comment, and we'll say this is the About section. And in the About section, we'll go ahead and have a container. Inside that container, we want a row. And inside that row, we want some sort of dialogue. We'll call it, we'll just have a section header. Which already will have the styling for the thinner, the font weight 300 text. We'll say this is about me. And then we want a new row below that row. And in there, I'm just going to go ahead and have a paragraph. And I'm going to add a class to this paragraph of flow text. And what flow text is it's a truly responsive text you can use for your site. I really only recommend it for using on paragraph text. It doesn't really work well for like H2s and H1s. Header tags, just the styling gets weird. So, but for paragraph text, it actually works pretty well. So I'm just going to add some generic text in here. In fact, we can just add some lorem. Maybe that's a little too much, I don't know, but I think that'll probably look good. So let's go ahead and go back to our project, have a look at what we've got. Now I think maybe it's a little bit weird that we have so much white space. Maybe it's not, but everything above here has had some sort of delineator that separates it from the previous section, and since these two sections do not, we might want to add something here, which I think, let's see what a divider looks like in between the two sections. I don't know if that'll be enough space. Yeah, it's also too wide, it needs to be in a container, but let's see if we can fix that. Yeah, so the width looks perfect now. But I think we're missing something in this section. And I think what it is probably like a picture of me or whoever's website this is. So I think maybe we'll look into that here in the future. The other thing we could do is just give it a different colored background, which I think would make it look a little bit more like it fit with the theme. And then did we also have a contact section we wanted to create? We do. So we want a contact section and then a footer below here. And in fact, maybe we want to add the contact section before the About Me section, and that'll give us some sort of like visual delineator between the two sections. I think that's what we'll do. This has been sort of a short video, so I think we're going to go ahead and add the contact section right there in the middle. So let's head over to the Materialize documentation and let's look at what they've got available for us for forms. Alright, so we have a pretty simple form here. Let's go ahead and just grab it and we'll throw it in and see what it looks like. So back in our code and below our divider, let's go ahead and add a new section. We'll call this the contact section. And I want a container in there. In that container, I think we want a row. that row, I think we do want a column. And I want to make that like I'm going to make it a 8 column width with an offset of 2, and we'll make it M12, S12. So on medium and small screens, it's going to take up the full width. And inside there, we'll go ahead and paste all that code we just created, or that we copied, I should say. So where does our form field begin? Way up there. All right. There we go. So let's have a look at what that looks like. I know it's not everything we're going to want. We definitely want some sort of section header here. And then I want to use some color to sort of break up the page to make it look a little different. So let's go ahead and just modify first and foremost this form to make sure it's got what we want. It's a context section, so and we don't need any disabled fields, so we can take out this row here. I don't think we'll be using a password. Do want an email, first name, last name, and email. I think we want to make sure we capture first, and then the last one, rather than password, we'll just say like, tell me about your project. See what that looks like. So we got first name, last name, email, and then tell me about your project. I think that looks good. We can fix those placeholders. And then add them to everything else. And that should look pretty good. So now what I want to do is change the background color of the container for this section, and I wonder what color would look good. Let's go ahead and head back to the color palette and see what you think looks good. We're using a very blue theme, so I think maybe something in blue would look good, but if it's going to be blue, it should be pretty dark so that the text shows up well. So let's see what happens if we use this blue darken 4. Actually, I think that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and add on top of that another row. And in there we'll have an H2 with the class of section header. And we'll say, we can say contact me. And we'll see what that looks like. So not looking awesome. So we want to definitely have white text on that. And then I think that section header needs some additional styling, or we could put it outside of the blue box, which I think might look, I think that might look more consistent with our theme here. So let's see what that looks like. copy this whole section and need to add a div right at the bottom to close off the container. We don't want white text in this case. Oh, we also don't want that blue. Oh, and we need to remove the other one. Let's see what that looks like. Looks okay. I think this part of this page has a whole lot of like red on it and not as much blue, so it might look a little odd. Maybe we should go back to like the blue gray that we were using before, because I think it might be a little more consistent. And then I think the whole form needs some padding on the top. I wonder what this bottom padding is. So there's 20 pixels on the bottom. Let's see what it looks like if we add 20 pixels on the top. And that would be our, let's give this blue container, let's call this contact form. And let's style contact form with a little padding on top. We'll do the same 20 pixels and see what that does. I think that's pretty close. I think we want to add like 20 more, and I think that'll look balanced. Yeah, I think that looks good. And because I had contact me, I think I'm gonna take out the me's on both of them. I think they look a little incongruent with the rest of the page. So let's go back to index. So it'll just be contact, and it'll just be about. Yeah. I feel like we sort of started a pattern when we had parallax container and then some sort of, you know, content element, and then a parallax container and then a content element, and maybe that's missing up here. I also think I want, even after seeing this, I think I want the contact section below the about section. I think I want it right above the, footer. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. And if you want to see what that flow text does, let's go ahead and resize the browser window. And as you shrink it down, you can see that the text is changing size as we scroll up and down. So it's completely responsive. Yeah, I think in the future the about section needs an image, probably on this half of the container. It needs an image and the about text on the right hand side, but in the meantime I think this will be fine. So in the next video we'll continue and we'll finish the footer, and after that I think we'll be done with this project. Thanks for watching. My name is Doug and this has been Break Tech. If you enjoyed this video, please click like, please click subscribe.